أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين مولانا وسيدنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our subject is the commentary of the very short du'as which we recite on a daily basis. Tonight we are going to do du'a number 3, the one for tomorrow. In tomorrow's du'a we begin by saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma rzuqni fihi adh-dhihn wat-tanbih. We say in this du'a, Oh Allah, on this day of 3rd of Ramadan, give me alertness and awareness. And this is actually my dua right now, that inshallah Allah gives you all alertness and awareness, inshallah. I know it's very close to iftar, but if you can bear with me, that'll be very nice of you. With salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We have a belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us multiple forms of guidance. One of those forms of guidance is an inner voice. Hujjat dakhili. This is what we say. He has given us an internal proof, internal voice. You can call that conscience, you can call that inner soul, you can call that the conversations which we have with ourselves. Allah has given each and every person this, regardless of religion. He's given them an inner voice. And this is an admonisher. It admonishes us. It keeps us on the straight and narrow if we listen to it. In today's lecture, if you'll bear with me, I want to touch upon something which I feel is very important. This inner voice, these conversations we have in our mind, these thoughts which come to us, how much legitimate are they? How much legitimacy do they have? For example, we have heard from the mimbar, and even this very mimbar actually, from many different times, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, think, reflect, ponder. It's become very fashionable to speak about this. Think, reflect, ponder. Afala ta'qilun. Afala yatafakkarun. Hadith is full of it. Quran is full of it. Have we understood this properly, what Allah is trying to say when He says think and ponder? Do we know the boundaries of this thing called aql, intellect, reason? What are we going to think about? What are we going to ponder about? These are very, very important questions, because if we get this wrong, and if we start to exercise thinking and pondering and reflection on the wrong things, then things can go very badly wrong. We have a number of places from the Ahlul Bayt, for example from Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. He has conversations with, for example, Abu Hanifa, the leader of one of the 4 Sunni schools of thought. He has many conversations with him on this matter. Abu Hanifa gives a fatwa. Imam asks him, how did you reach this fatwa? He said, well, this thing looks like this thing, so I applied the ruling of this one to this one. Imam says, one who does this books a place for himself in the fire of hell. So we have to be very careful. Many a times we hear things like, this is what our marajih say, this is what our mujtahids say, but this doesn't make sense. Laws of fasting, do they make sense? Organ donation, it doesn't make sense. Many things we have highlighted in our religion that we feel don't make sense. So now what I want to do is I want to challenge this. What do you mean it doesn't make sense? Can we have a framework in which we can operate? Can we have some rules and regulations that can clarify this? What is aql? What is intellect? When do we use it? When do we not use it? Inshallah, this is what we are going to discuss. I want to present to you 4 areas in which it is legitimate to use aql. And usually in Islam, when we speak about Islamic sciences, this is how we use intellect. Number 1, inquiring into religion and searching for the truth has to be done with intellect. Someone will ask you, why are you a Muslim? You'll say, because the Quran says so. Does it make sense? It's a circular argument. Why do you believe in God? Because God tells me to. How do you know that the Holy Prophet is a prophet? Because he said so. It doesn't make sense. So the first step in inquiring into religion happens through intellect. Secondly, when considering religious texts, how do we decipher a complicated piece of writing? Many of the Holy Quran's verses are not easy to understand. They are complex. This is why, shabash to those who undertake translations and commentaries of the Holy Quran. It's not an easy job. So when we come to consider the meaning of a scripture, a text, we use intellect. We use intellectual ways of looking at things. Number 3, things like our beliefs, resurrection, ma'ad. I'll ask someone, why do you believe in resurrection? They'll use intellect. They'll say, hang on a second, I know there is a God. Allah is wise. Allah is just. So if there's no hereafter, how can He be wise and just? Otherwise, this world just ending abruptly and nothing being afterwards doesn't tell me any wisdom or any justice. Because there have been criminals and oppressors who have lived in this world and they haven't been punished for what they did. So there must be a divine court somewhere where they will get their punishment. So we use intellect for that as well. Fourthly and finally, to understand righteousness and wrongfulness. Zulm is bad. Do we need Quran to tell us that? Being a good person is good. Honesty is virtuous. Kindness is good. Compassionate is good. We don't need the Quran to. That itself is an intellectual thing. We understand it. That's why people of different religions, they understand these same kinds of things. So, these are the 4 usages of intellect. Now we come on to the crux of the matter with salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Where we are going wrong, with all due respect, where we are going wrong is we fail to distinguish decisive judgments of intellect, where it can really make a judgment, and where it can't make a judgment. We fail to differentiate those two. So for example, if I tell you, do you believe in hereafter? You'll say yes. I'll say why? You'll say because of wisdom and justice. Okay. Then I'll tell you, now tell me the features of hereafter. How many doors will heaven have? How many streams will there be? How many palaces will there be? What is hell going to be like? What is the name of the angel who looks after hell? What is the name of the angel who looks after heaven? Tell me. Use your intellect. You have intellect, right? And intellect is good. So tell me. What is Sirat going to be like? How many stations will there be on Sirat? Which station will be first? Which station will be last? What will they ask you? How long will you wait there? What jawab will you give? What will grant you passage and what will make you stop there? You will say, look bro, fine, my intellect told me that there is a life hereafter, but these details I cannot understand with my intellect. Here your intellect has hit its limitation. So there are certain things that intellect can understand. We should use it. And there are certain places where it hits its limitation and we say, sorry, these things I cannot understand with my intellect alone. I need supplementary information. We have intellect. How many cars are parked in the car park? Can anyone say? Sat here, using our intellect, can we know? We cannot know. That is not the realm of intellect. That is not the purview of intellect. That is not the role of intellect to tell us these things. So, the first important point we must make is that intellect can be misunderstood. in its role and in its context. Why? If it is such a pure thing, if Allah tells us again and again to use our intellect, why can it be misunderstood? Why can it hit a brick wall? Because it has its natural limitations. So now when we bring our own thoughts into Islamic things, especially into fiqhi matters, Roja doesn't make sense, hijab doesn't make sense, moon sighting and these lapra of moon sighting doesn't make sense. Now we have to be careful. What do you mean sense? Sense because your intellect is not able to access those things? That's why we have revelation. That's why we have Quran. That's why we have hadith, sunnat of aimma, maraje, mujtahideen, process of taqleed. Because we need all of these things to give us our rulings and our fatwas. So where we sometimes go wrong is we start to involve in religion whims, personal opinions and emotions. Now these things do not have any hujjat in Islam. We do not have any verse or any hadith which tells us your personal whim, opinion and emotion is a hujjat upon you, is binding upon you. Nope, we don't have it. So sometimes we are unfortunately mixing these things and we cannot discern properly. What do we say in the famous dua of Sabah of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Ilahi qalbi mahjoob wa nafsi ma'yoob wa aqli maghloob. My Lord, my heart is covered, my nafs is problematic, my aql has been overcome. Sometimes it can be overcome. It will never give a wrong judgment, but it can be overcome, it can be imprisoned. So aql has its limitations. So we have to be very careful, especially in areas which are very technical. Fiqh is a very technical area. We cannot just go into fiqhi matters and say, doesn't make sense. This can't be right because it doesn't make sense. No, it's not that it doesn't make sense. But your aql has hit its limitation here. It cannot understand some of these finer points. So we have, for example, from Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salatu wassalam, this wonderful hadith in which he says, Inna lillahi ta'ala ala nas hujjatain. Allah has given people two hujjats, two proofs. One is internal, the voice, the conscience. One is external, A'imma, Anbiya, Mursaleen, our prophets, our imams. They are external. These two can never ever be in conflict because they are both hujjat of Allah. Can Imam Ali and Imam Hassan, can they be in conflict? Never. Can Nabi Isa and Nabi Idris be in conflict? Never. Two hujjats of Allah can never be in conflict. The moment you feel ever in your life, this doesn't make sense, check it against Quran and Hadith. If it's in conflict, you know that this inner voice is going wrong at the moment. It has hit a wall. It can't go beyond where it's gone. So then you retract and you surrender and you submit and you say, you know what? Allah is more wise than me. He knows a bit more than me. He understands me better than I understand myself. The next part of the dua is وَبَاعِدْنِي فِيهِ مِنَ السَّفَاهَةِ وَالتَّمْوِيهِ. Oh Allah, distance me from stupidity and falsehood. We have in the Quran a reference to this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمِ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. Who will ever renounce Ibrahim's creed except for one who fools himself? So Quran mentions along the same lines that when we move away from the straight path, we are like acting stupidly and in falsehood. وَجَعَلْ لِي نَصِيبًا مِنْ كُلِّ خَيْرٍ تُنْزِلُ فِيهِ بِجُودِكَ Ya Ajwad al-Ajwadin. And O Allah, on this day, grant me a portion of every goodness that you send down, O most generous of the generous. Not only is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most generous of the generous, not only are we asking for a portion of His generosity that He sends down every day, it is also this glorious month of Ramadan. And believe me, the barakat, the maghfirah, the rahmat which is available in this month is unparalleled. So we ask Allah tomorrow, and in fact every single day, that these barakat, these showers of grace and kindness which you are sending down, O Allah, grant me a portion of that as well. So everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is from Him, and we need to recognize that. Now, if everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we face problems in our lives, then it makes it easier for us to deal with these problems. Now all of a sudden, these problems are no longer problems. They are graces from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When problems come, do shukr. It sounds odd. We usually don't react to problems in this way. We usually run away from problems. Yes, we have to work to better our problems, but do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tell Allah, oh Allah, somehow, some way you have seen in your infinite wisdom that this difficulty is good for me. Maybe I can't see it. Maybe I'm not aware of it. But I thank you because you have chosen me for something. Either you are punishing me in this world, and believe me, it's better we are punished here than over there. Or you want to teach me something, or I'm lacking something. Whatever it may be, it is a grace from you. Oh my Lord, I thank you. Now, finally, to finish off for this evening, let me just narrate one more hadith from the 6th Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli. This is regarding fasting, and maybe many of us, we fall into this category, unfortunately, that when we fast, the days are long, it's quite warm, the fast can be difficult. Physically, it can be very difficult. And that difficulty can lead us to be a little bit angry, a little bit ill-tempered. We can bicker, maybe with our spouses. Maybe our children bicker with one another. Siblings bicker when they fast. This we see in our homes and our families. But listen to what our 6th Imam says. He says, when you fast, your ears, your eyes, your hair, your skin, and other parts must also fast. Leave unnecessary disputes. Do not be harsh on your subordinates. If you have employees, if you have people working under you, this is the month in which especially you should be very, very kind and soft towards them. And then Imam tells us that the Holy Prophet heard a lady was fasting. And whilst fasting, she was being rude to her maid. She had a maid servant. She was fasting and she was being rude to her maid. The Holy Prophet says, come for a meal. She says, Ya Rasulullah, but I'm fasting. He says, how can you be fasting and talk in this way to your maid? Everything must observe a level of precaution in this month, inshallah. Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is the month, as I said yesterday, of the shahadat of this great man, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Rasulullah knew what was going to happen after he passes away from this world. He tells Janab Zahra what is to happen to her. He shares with the Ummah what is to happen to Imam Hassan. He shares the very painful shahadat of Imam Hussein. But I think Rasulullah loved no one as he loved Ali. For Ali, you look at the words of Rasulullah from his khutbah, you'll be amazed. Qala Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen says, فَقُلْتُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. After Rasulullah gives him the news of his shahadat, Amirul Mu'mineen had one thing in mind. Ya Rasulallah, وَذَلِكَ فِي سَلَامَةٍ مِّن دِينِي. when I am killed in this way that you have described, by someone who draws his sword and he hits me on my head, my blood begins to flow. You have told me that the redness of the blood will make my beard also red. Tell me, in this situation, is my religion going to be safe? فَقَالَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ فِي سَلَامَةٍ مِّن دِينِكَ. Oh Ali, you don't need to worry about this. Your religion will be safe. And then he says the following. ثُمَّ قَالَ. The Holy Prophet then said, Ya Ali, man qatalaka faqad qatalani. Whoever kills you, it's as if he has killed me. وَمَنْ أَبْغَضَكَ فَقَدْ أَبْغَضَنِي. Whoever has hatred towards you, it's like he has had hatred towards me. وَمَنْ سَبَّكَ فَقَدْ سَبَّنِي. Whoever swears at you, he swears at me. لِأَنَّكَ مِنِّي كَنَفْسِي. It is like you are from me, like my own soul. Show me anyone else about whom Rasulullah says this. He says, Fatimatu bad'atum minni, Husaynum minni wa ana min Husayn. But for Amirul Mu'mineen, he says, Anta ka nafsi. You are like my own self. Ruhuka min ruhi. Your ruh is from my ruh. Wa tinatuka min tinati. Your clay with which you are made is from my clay with which I am made. Inna Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala khalaqani wa iyyak. Allah made me and He made you. Wastafani wa iyyak. And He has chosen both of us. Ikhtarani lin nubuwwa. To me He gave prophethood. Wakhtaraka lil imama. To you He gave imama. Waman kara imamataka. Ali ke chahne wale. This is for you. Whoever denies your imamat, faqad ankara nubuwwati. He has denied my prophethood. Ya Ali anta wasiyi. Oh Ali, you are my successor. Wa abu wuldi. You are the father of my children. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein were not known as sons of Amirul Mu'minin. They were known as Ibn Rasulillah, the sons of the Holy Prophet. He says, you are the father of those whom I call my own children. وَزَوْجُ ibnati. You are the husband of my daughter. وَخَلِيفَتي. You are my khalifa ala ummati fi hayati wa ba'da mawti. While I'm alive and after I die, you are the khalifa. Amruka amri. Oh Ali, whatever you order, it's as if I've ordered. وَنَهْيُكَ nahi. Whatever you disallow, it's as if I have disallowed. أُقْسِمُ بِالَّذِي بَعَثَنِي بِالنُّبُوَّةِ. I swear by Allah, the one who made me a prophet and who made me the best of all creation. إِنَّكَ لَحُجَّةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى خَلْقِهِ. You are the hujjat of Allah upon the people. وَأَمِينُهُ عَلَى سِرِّهِ. And His guardian of His secret. How did the Ummah treat this man? Oh, Azadarun of Amirul Mu'mineen. Ramazan ka chand, Zainab ki yatimi ka i'lan. Bibi Zainab, after the news reaches the house of Amirul Mu'mineen, after Ibn Muljim strikes with the sword, the news has already reached the house of Janab Zainab. When Amirul Mu'mineen is held by his companions on both sides, he can hardly walk. They are carrying him towards the house. All of a sudden he hears the cries of Kulthum and Janab Zainab. When he hears these cries, he looks at his companions and he says, you have taken me this far. Now that you can hear my daughter's cries, I wish you to turn back and go back. You don't need to come any further. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, if only you had been there on Sham-e Ghariban when Zainab was crying. Sometimes she would cry, Ya Abata. Sometimes she would cry, Ya Akha. Sometimes she would cry, Ya Husayna. Allah la'natullahi al-qawmi al-zalimin. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun. Rahimallahu man qara al-Fatiha.